Chris has a home unit,
Yeah,
and it was the beginning of February, correct? That you,
very end of January,
oh,
right?
very end of January. Yes,
Yeah.
Greg had called me. You guys were dealing with Parkinson's, and he said, he's a very intelligent man. I mean, he's an electrical engineer, right? Are you an electrical engineer, Greg?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I had to keep up with him. But then he said, I want my wife to call. And when Chris called, I was just so excited. It's so fun to talk to people that do know about frequency medicine and have been studying for years. And then they find us and they're pretty darn excited. So Chris, can you just tell your background a little bit, what you were doing when you were working in alternative medicine back in the Midwest, and what certifications you had?
Lived in Missouri. I actually have 4 college degrees. I was an art professor, an exhibition artist, and I quit that to go into complementary care and became a massage therapist, a master herbalist, energy medicine and energy psychology, and had a practice with an MD nutritionist in St. Louis. So we were the arm of the to bring complementary care as they would allow in the Midwest 20 years ago. So yeah, and then so I did that before we moved here, and worked pro bono for 4 years with war refugees in St. Louis. It's a big city for influx of refugees that had advanced PTSD, using mostly setting up a mind-body kind of modality within a .org. So then we moved here, be closer to our kids and grandkids out in Washington State by the San Juan Islands, and I was mostly retired doing free pro bono work, and then Greg was diagnosed with Parkinson's, right?
Yeah, 5 years ago. I'm 76 now. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's and sent home with my pharmaceuticals, 3 tablets a day. And what happened over the period of the last 5 years, I've had to increase my dosage from 3 per day to 5 or 6 per day. And I knew 3 or 4 people that had died from Parkinson's, and I knew this was not going to be, I didn't want to do that anymore. So we found the light therapy from Bales, and we said, let's try it. And so far, the results that I've seen for 1 month of usage is my medications have gone from 5 or 6 to 4, back to 4. So I've reduced my
Dosages.
by 20-25%. And I can now go to Costco and not have to use the cart as a stroller, which is nice. And also, I can go to bed at night and not have to wake up 8 or 10 times. I don't know what I did with the.
I don't know what we did without it.
I don't know what we did, but I only have to get up 2 or 3 times a night now, and that's my story.
The Costco story, he used to use the cart as a walker, and then sometimes he'd have to, like, I don't know where he'd be sitting in like the lawn furniture department because he couldn't walk anymore. Sometimes we'd have to stop, abandon the trip and go home. And this last 2 weeks, while I was working with other clients, he was like gone 5 hours. I had to call and say, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I decided to go to T-Mobile. And then I went to the co-op, and then I went to Best Buy, and yeah. Then he came home and put all the groceries away and cooked dinner. So
wow.
You see why I was so excited?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I was tired.
Oh, he didn't want to do the dishes. That what it was?
I wanted to watch the hockey game.
All right. Yes. So Greg started to get results. Like we started on like 25%, 2 minutes, with the bug ablation, the gut brain thing as recommended on some of the archived, the Zoom calls. And he had he started to have a reaction right away, and then little improvements. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to use it on my old hiking injury toe improvements. And then, as you all say, you start thinking like everybody needs this in some way. So our circle, our 5 kids were like, no, that's like weird. So, but, eventually they've come around, and then previous people in the neighborhood. And so I like data and statistics and was curious and skeptical, the practitioner stories and the studies, but I want to see it myself. So I think we've done 130 sessions in a month, in 5 weeks, and pretty much like booked in my little house now 2 days a week. And yes, every day I am like learning something and spellbound about what can happen. So we've number of people with the 4-year-old shoulder injury, those things seem to get resolved quickly, the joint and the tissue issues. Spent tons of money with trying to get it resolved without anything. 2 treatments, brought back 100% strength, 80% range of motion. Old athletic injuries, chronic injuries are responding in a minimum 3 to 4 times. Several people with EBV that I love the dermatome thing, because a lot of the symptomology, if they happen to, with the home unit, like I don't know exactly what's active, and I also don't know where it might be in the body. So, but when they give their symptomology, I had post-COVID this, I have had EBV for 10 years, I had post-vaccine this, I had shingles. And if all the symptomology is in the same area, it's like, go to the dermatome. And that's what we're doing. And especially one person who's like phenomenally improved. And so because you can treat, yes, the eustachian tubes and the tonsils or the tonsil scars, the lymphatic vessels, right, that drain from the brain. So, oh my goodness, there's so much good stuff all up in here. Respiratory, same thing. It's like, yeah. So for me with a home unit, if I don't know anything else or can't, pinpoint it, then that's one way to go.
Yeah.
Essential tremor. Okay. I know it's a brain disorder. There's not a lot of treatment, no B12 problems. 2 sessions, the person doing the same thing, the cranial treatment, the neurocog. 2 treatments, the person is like, yeah, my hands are better. I can't write still very well, but noticing improvement, that's like stunning to me. So
yeah, I treated.
It's like shockingly wonderful. Thank
I
you.
like that. Shockingly wonderful.
Wonderful.
That's
Thank
good.
you so much. That's awesome. If I'm back there, I'd love to visit you.
Oh yeah, please do.
Oh, Chris is going to be part of our team. That's for sure.
I
That was the first day I talked to her.
Too old to go back to work, but how can I not? This is what's happened, is like, how can you not share this with people that, okay, just, and then they're referring other people to us, problem situations. And then I have people coming next week I've never met before, and they're telling their naturopaths and they're telling their nurse practitioners and their acupuncturists. And now they're all coming too, all scheduled. So the problem now is Greg's lost his home. Our living room is now the living room. He's like, what time are they coming? I got to get out of here. I
You feel good enough to escape now, right?
Yes. It's like, I'm going to work on the tractor. Okay.
So you didn't. So just so that you didn't do hardly any advertising.
I have not done any advertising. No, we're working out of our downstairs bedroom. It's all word of mouth. I have done pro bono work here in our community 10 years. We moved here 10 years ago. And I've gotten some referrals, for mostly in the herbal field and energy psychology. So yeah, so I have a presence, but still, yes. No, people are like, oh, that another email today. Oh, yes, I had X, Y, and Z and frozen SI joint and hip bursitis, and then my other knee's weak. And so, and then she's telling me, yeah, my blood work might say I could have EBV, but I don't have any symptoms.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. How about we start here? And then she emailed me today and said, yeah, she's like, all that pain is like gone. I'll see you Monday.